Well, welcome to Crypto Brothers. This week we're going to be talking about this new launch. It's a company called Sovryn. They're launching a new way of doing Bitcoin. It's called sidecaring. I believe that's what it's called. This article came out today on December 15th, and it's a review of this new platform. With us today, we got Lehi, who will be talking about this as well. So yeah, let's dive into what is this Sovryn? What is this RSK sidechain? So it's not called sidecar, sidechain. So what I gathered from this article, going through it, is Sovryn is launching this sidechain, which a sidechain it's a platform that runs alongside of another cryptocurrency. So in this case, it's running alongside of Bitcoin. And they're looking to address a few of the problems that Bitcoin has. One of the major issues Bitcoin has is that it is only money. It's only a currency, nothing else. And this article goes and points out that Ethereum is a lot more than just a currency. You can write a lot more things to the blockchain, like you can write images to it, you can write contracts, you can do currencies. What other things can you write to this thing, Lehi?
Other stuff.
Other things. But
I mean, contracts is the big one, right? That's one, from what I remember, kind of reading into Ethereum back in the day. That was one of its biggest selling points, right? Is it had that ability to do contracts and other things like that.
yeah,
Where Bitcoin was more solely focused on the blockchain itself and that as a currency.
yeah. So that's one of the big problems with Bitcoin has right now that Ethereum did solve. Is that ability to do a lot more with the blockchain. And what's cool about the blockchain is you can write to it, and it's called immutable, means you can't change it. It's there forever. And so no one can go back in and fudge that they traded some sort of asset on a certain date and for how much. You could go back and see it. And that's where Ethereum comes in and says, hey, I can do more than just money. I can also say I sent this image on this date, or I made a bet that in next Tuesday it's going to be cloudy. And then I can go back and I can look at that contract that I wrote and actually see that, hey, I said this thing. I can't unsay it. I can't say I didn't say it. And so, but that's a big problem that Bitcoin has, is you can't do any of those things except for saying I gave this money to Lehi on this date.
Appreciate that.
And Lehi owes me this much. Actually, no, I can't say that. I can't say Lehi owes me this much money. That's a problem with it that you can do on Ethereum. So anyways, so what this is, Bitcoin is far more popular than Ethereum. And so the goal of this side chaining is to make it so you can do those contracts on Bitcoin, kind of. It allows you to make a transaction on Bitcoin's network, but whenever it makes that transaction, it also does a side transaction on the side chain on RSK. And we looked up what RSK means. Do you know what it means off the top of your head, Lehi?
No, every time I read an acronym, I just skim over it.
So RSK. Oh, I need to look it up too. I had it. I will look that up as we are going through this. But so what they've done is they've launched this platform alongside of Bitcoin to allow us to do contracts now. One of the big problems they have, another problem they have with Bitcoin is speed. Leah, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, so one of the things that makes blockchain secure is just the fact that when you do a transaction, it's not just me sending Austin money and that's it, right? It's going to be verified by several several other people in the blockchain, and that's how it it increases its security there. And it's really after these things are done that it considers a transaction complete, right? And in your Bitcoin wallet, crypto wallet, from the other person's. Um, but as Bitcoin is more and more popular, right, there's more transactions going on. Well, then these things take longer, and these transactions take longer and longer. Um, and so we've seen Bitcoin just kind of get, I don't think it was ever necessarily super fast to begin with, but we've seen it slow down a lot. As Bitcoin's emerged as kind of this alternative money powerhouse. And I think it's probably still one of its biggest hurdles. Its biggest hurdle is probably it's how crazy it jumps around, but I think speed is another hurdle to using Bitcoin just as a currency, right? And having it more readily adopted worldwide in businesses and stuff, right? I can't go down to Home Depot right now and pay in Bitcoin. And most places don't accept it. Now there are a few, right? And there's Bitcoin ATMs you can find, but they're pretty rare. And so there's certain things they have to get past to kind of get to that adoption level. And I think speed will definitely be one of those.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, as I saw, whenever I did a transaction, whoops, hold on a second here. Whenever I did a transaction on Bitcoin, it usually takes about, it can take up to like 20 minutes for that transaction to happen. While whenever you're using a credit card or something, that's basically instant.
Can you imagine being at Walmart and you're just like, man, I just really want to buy this milk, but I'm still waiting for that Bitcoin to go through.
Yeah.
And then by the time it goes through, it's not enough Bitcoin because the price of Bitcoin has
Oh,
changed so much.
jeez.
It's a real problem.
Waiting for milk. Dig it. That's why they'll start just
What about
measuring
milk
your
and
milk.
eggs?
I can only buy 3/4 of a gallon at the moment. Wow, now I can buy like 6 gallons. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, that's a big problem that they have is the speed and actually trying to make it so Bitcoin is more viable in more places. Yeah, that's why this sidechain is important. And I looked up what RSK stands for, and that is, I just had it. Where did it go?
Sure, you found
Oh,
it.
darn it, I just had it. Where did it go?
I'm looking at their website. I don't see a definition for it. I just see it as a company.
Oh, there we go. It's called Rootstock. So RSK stands for Rootstock, and it's a smart contract platform that is connected to the Bitcoin blockchain through sidechain technology. So it's still you got your main blockchain. So you got Bitcoin right here doing its thing, but then you have this Rootstock, which is listening for any transactions that are happening with Bitcoin, and it's side loading them off to a separate cryptocurrency called Rootstock, which is handling transactions and also allowing for other things like writing contracts and also, what was the other one? They talked about some major points. They're going to start allowing for borrowing, lending, and doing longs and shorts with Bitcoin. And I don't know what longs and shorts are yet.
I think most people will probably be somewhat familiar with the concept, right? Because it's been used in the stock market for a long time. And it's just kind of a riskier form of trading. If you maybe have an inkling or know what the market's gonna do, you can kind of play that game. I don't know enough to do it. So I like to buy and hodl, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
I did send you a link, Austin. It's just kind of interesting. I mean, we're both software developers, and so this stuff is interesting for us. But it's a RSK's documentation for developers. If you wanna, use Rootstock or whatever you call it, to integrate it into whatever application you're building.
Yeah. Like right here, already there's a node set up. which is really, really nice. Might not be the node setup I'm thinking of, but actually that's cool. Actually, they have Docker integration ready to go
Oh, there's AWS right below it. Yep.
in Azure. Wow, those are all ready to fire. That's super cool.
So it's interesting too. They call it smart Bitcoin. They say smart Bitcoin is linked 1-to-1 to Bitcoin. So one RBTC, which R-BTC is the hyphen for smart Bitcoin, equals 1 Bitcoin. I thought that it's just interesting how they link it in that side chain.
Well, and it's cool that you bring that up because in their funding for for this RSK chain, they received 2.1 million. That's their backing, and right here, that's a symbolic number representing Bitcoin's total supply. So they received 2.1 million dollars, and that's exactly there's 2.1 million Bitcoin.
So if Bitcoin was $1, they could buy all the Bitcoin. You're saying?
Yes.
I
So
wish Bitcoin was $1.
I wish Bitcoin was a dollar. Well, only when I buy it, then I wish it was back to where it was.
Perfect.
So yeah. Anyways, I thought that this was really cool. That this is the new chain that's come out, which is the Sidechain. Is that what I was saying? Right? Yeah, Sidechain, which I didn't know that was a thing.
News to me, but I think it's really interesting, and it just kind of goes to show. I mean, oh man, what year did Bitcoin come out?
I
You
want
know,
to.
off the top of your head?
I'm gonna lie. I'm gonna say 2008.
2009,
Okay.
January 2009. So you were really close. You
No.
missed it by 3 days.
Oh, that's good.
January 3rd. Right, but I mean, and think about technology that's grown in the past 11 years, almost 12 years now. That it makes sense, but it's also cool to see that the technology involved in Bitcoin is growing as well, right? We've seen it in other cryptocurrencies already, right? With what Ethereum's trying to do or what Ripple is trying to do, and there's a lot of obviously there's just thousands of altcoins at this point. But it's cool to see some of that technology affecting Bitcoin itself.
Yeah. What I find is interesting is how, yeah, Bitcoin by itself again was only designed for a currency, but then then Ethereum was back behind it. Like I personally would prefer to see Ethereum grow because I think it's awesome and does awesome things. But it's interesting seeing these companies come out and just saying like, hey, yeah, Ethereum's cool, but Bitcoin's more popular. How can we ride that train? And so that's where this RSK is coming out. Yeah, I think that's neat. Okay, well, trying to think here. What else do we got about RSK? I think that's basically it. I'm going to go ahead and flip back here and show the price of what Bitcoin is now. We were showing that at the very beginning. And this is our change.
Went down.
Went down.
I think it was 19,400, right?
Yeah. So we lost money making this video, which is a bummer. Hopefully the next
Sounds
one we
about
make
right.
money. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Lehi. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one.